And indeed, Tammy, even that little bit about China, I have heard, was put in after the balloon when they realized that politically the White House would have to say something about it. But there were other parts, too, that I thought were just scandalous. Have a listen to this bit.
Fentanyl is killing more than 70,000 Americans a year. You got it.
Well, I mean, fentanyl was a big issue in the Trump campaign when he was president, but empathy is great, but he refuses to do anything about it. It's pouring in through the southern border, and yet Joe Biden just stands there and smirks. How can he do that?
He smirked. It was remarkable, because this is one of the major issues of why we're arguing. We effectively, it's a failed nation's border on the south. We have no border control. And this means that you've got enough fentanyl, we know, in this last year has come over the border to kill the population of the United States 5 times over. It is a shocking situation. And then he laments it as though it was delivered by leprechauns and it was a surprise. This is a result of his policies, right? And that's why you heard the outrage. Look, he said this after he'd introduced someone who is affected by fentanyl, family who's lost a family member. That is true for at least 70,000 Americans a year. This is a major attack on the Americans in general when it comes to the number of deaths. But it becomes almost like tragedy porn or grief porn, when you use it to maneuver emotions, but then you don't. He could change the situation so quickly. The reversal of all of Donald Trump's policies were simply because they hate him. And they didn't think about whether they were good or bad for the country. Clearly, they wanted to reverse what he had done because there had been success really stopping clearly the illegal immigration with the wall. Trump had an incredible program regarding opioid addiction. It was an excellent focus in that regard. And now we are at this kind of catastrophe that has beset the country. But again, not by accident. This is an unforced error and a decision by this administration. So when he was going into this empathy, my goodness, and that's what some people were yelling there in the chamber. This is your fault. This is the border. This is your policies. And that's what Americans understand as well. The crime, the fentanyl, the cartels that now are making so much money, the sex trafficking that goes with that. It is a horrible dynamic that the Biden administration watches. And then when he understands finally what they're saying, he smirks. Now, the American people watching that, of course, were appalled, and they should be. And that's the kind of impression he left with that kind of an exchange.